Nintendo just did the unthinkable. They just announced that they are going to be raising the prices of the Switch 2, which obviously is not good news. This is not taking effect until September though, so if you guys haven't bought a Switch 2, I recommend picking one up before the prices do go up. But there is something on the flip side of this that's actually pretty good news for the next Pokemon games. So Winds and Waves Generation 10 and the other games that we have from the Terra League like Legends Galar, the MMO, and whatever else that they're going to announce. And by the way, guys, let us know, what are your theories about the future games that we're going to get on the Switch 2? Could be Black and White remakes, a Johto Generation 2 game. Let us know your craziest theory. But the reason why this is actually good news for the future of Pokemon is because they actually apologized for the price hike and said because they are raising the prices, they promise to deliver bigger and better games. And obviously, what better way to do that than to focus on the next Pokemon game in games and give us something amazing that could potentially become the best Pokemon game of all time. We know that this game's coming out next year and it has a lot of development time.
Them saying that they're going to give us bigger and better games. Obviously, Pokemon is a massive seller on the Switch, you know what I'm saying? You look at the sales of a lot of the Pokemon games on the OG Switch, they're some of the highest selling games on the console, so obviously they're going to put a lot of time and effort into Pokemon Winds and Waves. I think this statement could mean that we're going to get the best possible looking textures, the highest FPS, the smoothest gameplay out of every single Pokemon game that we've ever gotten, at least as far as the 3D ones go. And we saw how good this game looked in the very first trailer that we got. I mean, obviously you compare that to the textures and the FPS on the first Scarlet and Violet trailer, the difference is like night and day. So the craziest part about that trailer, looking as good as it did, is the fact that that's probably taken from like an early on, not fully polished build of this game. So that's just something I wanted to point out because people were already saying how good the trailer looked. Well, I would expect that this game is going to look a whole lot better than even what we saw in the trailer. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I think we've needed a 3D Pokemon game with, you know, good FPS, super high quality textures and all that stuff for such a long time. I know that they kind of redeemed Scarlet and Violet on the Switch too, but even comparing that to what we saw in the Winds and Waves trailer, I don't think it stacks up quite as well. So with the statement, I'm hyped to see Winds and Waves when it's finally complete, man. I think it's going to be great.
Ball Guy also did say that there is a real reason why they delayed Pokemon Winds and Waves, and it might have been for this reason exactly, so that they can make a bigger and a better game, denser cities, better draw distance. I'm assuming we could see way more Pokemon on screen, and I also feel like in a way, this could also kind of be good news for the Pokemon designs, like the new Pokedex, because obviously a big part of the games is an amazing Pokedex and good Pokemon that fans love and that fans actually want to use, which has been a very controversial take for the last couple of years. So what do you guys think? Do you think like Gen 7, 8, and 9 have had a good Pokedex or a bad Pokedex? Because I swear, ever since probably Gen 7-ish is when the fans have started to kind of not like the Pokedex as much as they used to, which we have actually had rumors and leaks of the Pokemon that we should be seeing. So this list on the screen right now is basically like the most, I guess, confirmed current list of the Pokemon we should be getting so far in the game, which of course, more on that later. Also, I have some huge news before we get to the rest of the video. I just opened up a merch store where I got some stickers and some t-shirts. This is something I've been wanting to do forever, and over time I will be dropping more designs, more new stickers and stuff. So if you do want to check it out, link will be in the description down below. Alright, back to the regular video. Generation 10 is going to be the most ambitious Pokemon game of all time. It should be the biggest Pokemon game of all time, like quite literally. The map is going to be absolutely massive. I'm assuming the legendaries are going to go crazy, the Pokemon should go crazy, and underwater exploration is going to be a real thing in this game. So it'll be basically like how we could dive in Generation 5 and I believe Hoenn as well, just like that, but way bigger, like on a way more grand scale. I believe we even have had leaks about some sort of separate underground like abyss area. I think it was literally called the Neon Abyss from the Terra League, but basically how like that's a whole separate zone, like all new spawns, which makes me think that could be a good method for shiny hunting. But Cardinal made this very funny kind of like meme concept almost, just based on Subnautica, I think, of like a weird looking Magikarp underwater. But the reason I'm showing you guys this is because that is exactly what the underwater is probably, at least hopefully, gonna be like in this game, where just like in Subnautica, we're going to be exploring underwater. Like, it doesn't seem like we're just going to be able to go a little bit underwater. It does kind of seem as if the underwater area is going to be a core part of this game and probably heavily related to the storyline overall. I'm thinking maybe the Waves legendary is going to be located underwater or some sort of underwater cave. I mean, I really hope so, but we do know from early leaks that glowing Pokemon such as Lumineon will look really cool underwater, which we do see Lumineon in the water in the trailer, but I really hope it's very vast. Like, I hope the underwater part of this game just goes crazy. Like, I hope this is a staple part of the game overall. what do you think about the underwater exploration part of Winds and Waves? Like, is this something that you guys think is really cool? I've heard a lot of people wanting this and thinking that it's very, very sick, so let me know. Another thing that I do want to mention about the pricing, because we know video game prices are going crazy right now, like $80 for some brand new games. Typically it's like $70 right now, but Winds and Waves has a high chance of being an $80 Pokemon game, and I'm really, really hoping not. But we have seen Nintendo doing a thing where they actually released the digital version for $10 cheaper, so if it's $80 physical, it would be $70 cheaper, which I'm a fan of physical media. I support physical media because, you know, if you really are in a dire need of money, you could sell your physical media or just have an awesome collection. Like, I love collecting physical Pokemon games because it looks great on the shelf. But for the people that do prefer digital, that will be an option, obviously, and it might actually be a little bit cheaper. So Nintendo, you know, even though things are going up in price, they seem to kind of at least be doing some things to counteract the inflation, I guess. We know that Nintendo have been showing off Winds and Waves as one of the Switch 2 future upcoming titles based on this picture right here, because they haven't really been announcing many other things such as, you know, big 3D Mario game, the next Zelda game, which over on my second channel, we've been talking about all of those leaks and rumors about Mario and Zelda. It is interesting that they are kind of promoting this game, and I still think it's possible that they could show a trailer this year or just randomly announce some sort of a new Pokemon Presents or like a new kind of alternate form of a Pokemon Presents, because they've been like bringing back the tree houses, a bunch of random directs like the Star Fox Direct they announced 10 minutes beforehand, and then guess what we got? We got the big Star Fox Direct that showed off a huge trailer. So I'm wondering what if this year the Pokemon Company or Game Freak are just gonna say, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just announce a new Pokemon Presents, or like I said, they could kind of spin it off to be something like a Pokemon Direct or something that would give us a big trailer of Pokemon Winds Waves to show exactly how much they have actually done with this game, because it will be better than what we saw in the trailer. Without a doubt, it will have a lot of improvements, because we have had a lot of leaks and rumors that we're probably not going to be getting a Pokemon Presents or another trailer this year, but I just think it's a little bit fishy and a little bit weird because they have already shown us the game. We already know what it looks like, so with that in mind, like, why not just give us another trailer just to tide us over until the Pokemon Day of 2027, and then that's when they could really get the ball moving with more and more trailers. We also had the sales release for Pokopia and Fire Red Leaf Green. They sold about the same amount of units, but the big difference is here, Fire Red Leaf Green were a Switch 1 and a Switch 2 game, whereas Pokopia is Switch 2 exclusively. The Switch 2 has sold about 20 million units, so that means basically 1 in every 5 owners of a Switch 2 bought Pokopia. That is going to give them so much juice and so much motivation to push out a better game for Generation 10, to make Winds and Waves, to make it a must-have game for the Switch 2 overall, because with this price hike of the Switch 2, they're going to want to still continue to sell it, you know what I'm saying? Like, they are going to want to continue to sell Switch 2 units, so they have to make Winds and Waves good. Obviously, Pokemon is one of the biggest Nintendo IPs of all time, debatably the biggest, so they are not going to want to screw it up, especially since fans have been very, very divisive over the last couple of years. Jason and I want to know what you think about the last couple of years of Pokemon. Do you think they've been cooking with the Switch, or do you think the Switch era of Pokemon was terrible? I feel like people are literally on one or the other side. I feel like there's no in between with fans nowadays, but maybe you are in between. Let me know. Obviously, the Switch 2 increase is not a good thing, but if it means Pokemon Winds and Waves is going to be even bigger and even better, I think it's worth it, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, especially since the price increase isn't taking effect until September, so you can still get a Switch 2 at the regular cost. Subscribe to Jay's Art in the description down below. If you are around watching this far in the video, comment down below. Horse, just the word horse. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.